All right. Did I not say to you two ladies, did I not say to save everything
He doesn't want
for
it.
the on-air?
He's made us, Rick's put us in timeout. We've not been allowed to talk.
No one puts baby in the corner. No one.
That's right. That's right. How funny.
All right, we're live on the radio, we're live on TV, we're live on Facebook Live, and I have to tell you, it's so cute because when Maura Durham comes to the, wonderful Gerard Media Ranch, we know we have her chair sets, we have her microphone set. Now, we don't have the green jelly beans today there, Mary Anthony.
Rick's slacking, wasn't he?
Whoa.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I
I'm
love you,
kidding.
big-
I love
Big
you
hug.
too.
Come
That's
over
right.
here.
That's right.
It is Rick Federici.
I'm Mary Anthony.
And we are absolutely living the life. We're on Facebook Live right now. Several thousand of you are online. Free TuneIn app. We've got the live stream. And this is like one of our favorite shows.
It is. It's believe it or not, our September Chamber Corner already. I can't believe it. And we are living the life, a soggy life. It's going to be that way, I'm afraid, all weekend. We were talking about out there. So that does not sound like fun. But that's all right. What are you going to do?
I have so many questions to ask Maura and the crew today. Whether it's, and I always say, save it for the on air.
That's it.
As I was taught in my youth.
Yeah.
When I was in Chicago, radio and TV. Maura, why don't you introduce yourself? Everybody knows who you are. And then let's introduce our wonderful family guest here at WIMS. No stranger either to our studio.
No stranger. I'm Maura Durham. I'm the Doolin Chamber president.
Okay. And
I brought with me Mr. Jim Hubbard. Jim, you want to introduce yourself?
Jim Hubbard. I happen to be the current chapter chair for the SCORE chapter of Northwest Indiana.
you are awesome. Big round of applause for Scott.
Thank you for coming today. We're so glad you're here.
Thank
We're
you.
so glad you're here. And this is a really cool topic. So when I first got the topic, I was thinking, I'm not really sure. I don't really know much about it. But then you guys have a great website. And I think it's a really, really cool topic. So can we start by telling us what SCORE is? What's it all about?
All right. Well, SCORE's been around since 1964. We are a
Wow.
subset of the Small Business Administration. Although we are not in their budget, we actually are one of the few agencies that has its own line item in the congressional budget. So we operate independently, but we're very much tied with the Small Business Administration. What we are, the largest volunteer mentoring organization in the United States. Matter of fact, probably in the world. There are 11,000, probably closer to 12,000 volunteers, give over 2.2 million hours of free mentoring and business advice services annually, creating, tens of thousands of jobs and new businesses. Our primary emphasis is, our mission is to make small businesses vibrant and to provide them the resources of people who are interested and knowledgeable about business to share it with those people that are either starting a new business or in business and, have some issues that they'd like some help with.
I'm going to throw this out there, Mary Anthony. Maura, I was turned on to this great organization through the Doolin Chamber and our partnership, obviously, with you guys. Then I had the honor and privilege of speaking at an event where SCORE was there and blown away because the crowd was a sold-out crowd, mesmerized by what you guys have to offer. Why, as who you are in the chamber and what you bring to our community, why is this so important for all of us? Let's start there because this to me is of epic proportions. You don't get this anywhere, and this is
No,
cool.
absolutely. So we have so many entrepreneurs that come into our office and are so excited and so passionate about starting their business or are at the point in their business where they're needing help and needing guidance, and they look to the chamber because we're the people connector, right? So with that said, we partner with SCORE because we're able to say, hey, here's someone that will give you the free expert advice, and it's kind of like a cool Shark Tank style. I feel like they put you in there and they give you that unbiased, feedback that says, this is, we hear what your dream is. This is, maybe here are some suggestions to go
here's
about
what
it.
works and here doesn't.
Right.
This
But you know
doesn't.
what? It's so important, especially with the startup businesses. I mean, it's hard. You got to stay in business for that. What is it? Is it now a 5-year limit? I think they used to say 3. It's like 5 years and you're pretty good,
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we're getting them over the hump and getting all the advice and the research and, the demographics and their business plans in place, right away. So they have that roadmap to go with. And that's so important for the chamber to kind of let those businesses know that how important that is, and give them, pretty much give them the resource and the tool with SCORE to do so.
I think this is such a this partnership clearly makes so much sense. But how long has this been a partnership, and how closely has the chamber always worked with SCORE?
Well, the Northwest Chamber, the Northwest SCORE chapter, has been around for 25 some years. It's had ebbs and flows, but for the last 4 years, since it's kind of been rejuvenated, we serve 5 counties. We serve
you do? Okay.
Lake, Porter, LaPorte, Jasper, and Newton counties. I have there are 30 volunteers that are within our chapter, and we specifically go after partnerships with the chambers of commerce. They have, as Maura said, a membership that looks to them for resources.
Absolutely.
Now, they have a lot themselves, but they also need some help from outside, and that's where we like to partner, and that they have the connections with people who are starting a business or in business and are their members. So we try to work with that. There are actually 17 chambers of commerce in those 5 counties we're talking about.
Wow.
That's incredible.
And
Wow, that's
so
a lot.
we have connections with all of them, but some of them are more active with us, and I would
Yeah.
say probably our partnership with Maura is at the top of the list as far as which ones use us the most.
I think
so we're
that's
excited.
such an asset for all of those businesses then that you're involved with.
Well,
Maura,
we were
for
hearing from some of our businesses, like they don't expect the unexpected costs when it comes to starting a business
Yeah.
or running a business, and it's something that you get used to in planning. But if we have a free resource, to be able to maybe, kind of move them around some of those obstacles or get them through those roadblocks a little bit quicker, a little bit less financially,
Yeah.
involved, we're going to do that. I mean, we're in the business to try to help their business, right?
One of the things that we chatted about, and I loved our banter when we were discussing, because there's a lot of small and medium businesses out there. It's not the point that you don't know how to get the money to get together to start it, but keeping it well oiled and funded.
Right.
And I loved when we first met. I loved our conversation, because that is where I think a lot of the men and the women out there, they want to keep going and they want to improve on it, and they've got the guts, they've got the cool team in place, but it's that funding. It's like, how do I get it? How do I maintain
Where
it?
do you-
How do I
right.
crank out the new
How do you
business?
get it to grow? You know,
Right.
when you may have all the ideas and the inspiration, but you don't really know where to turn. I think this is so incredible, and I'd love to know, Jim, how long have you been involved, and what kind of drove you to get involved with SCORE?
Well, I've been involved since 2014, so 4 years with SCORE. I knew about SCORE even during my career time when I was working full time, and there are chapters. There are 320 chapters in the U.S., so I moved down here from Wisconsin 5 years ago, and there was a big chapter up there in the Appleton area, so we were familiar with them. I'd known about them over time and thought maybe someday I'd be able to share some of my knowledge with other people. And when I got here, and they were kind of rejuvenating the chapter, and that's headquartered in Valpo, but it's not. It serves the 5 counties. I thought now's the time to get involved. So being new to the community, it's been great for me to help people here and to learn and meet a lot of folks around this area.
If someone's listening to WIMS and living the life right now, is there one piece of advice, and I know you are just a wealth of knowledge, which we love, and intellect, can you throw out there to our WIMS extended family about, I want to take that step, I don't know how to start, I don't know what to do, I'm kind of lost, I'm kind of afraid,
Yeah.
What would you say to that?
Yeah.
Well, the first thing that people have to overcome is their fear of getting advice. I mean, to admit I need some advice. They say, well, I'm going to start my own business. I should be able to do it on my own. Well, maybe, but most of them can't. And so we know we've helped people start so many businesses. So the number one thing for us is, and it sounds like a broken record for people that know us, do a business plan. Now, there's all kinds of business plans, short ones, long ones, whatever. But if you plan ahead, then you get to identify all the obstacles, or many of the obstacles that you're going to encounter. You can address them earlier rather than just say, well, just do it. And you get started and go, oh, I should have thought of that. Oh, I forgot of thinking about that too. Oh, nobody told me about that. The business plan, we have the templates. We have the people that can help folks get started and do whatever size and however in-depth they want to do it. But planning ahead, doing a business plan. And by the way, those people that are in business and start say, well, I didn't have one when I started. It's never too late. You can
Yeah,
actually
very
do
good.
one while you're up and running. We have a template for a business that's underway, and it helps you rethink, some of the things you did and help you adjust it and improve your business. Lasting for the 5 years, as Maura said, that's the trick.
That's exciting. I have to ask, I'm curious. I have so many questions, but when you talked about, you were interested because you thought, well, maybe you have some knowledge to share. Did you own a business? What did you do in your career days, as you said?
Well, I didn't own a business myself. I was part of a big corporation. However, I worked with the Fond du Lac County, Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a public-private partnership, and I was on their board for 20 years, and we emphasized work with entrepreneurs in our county. So while I worked for the largest employer, nonetheless, we helped the smallest employers. So I've had some experience in that. And
You've had a lot of experience there
Yeah.
then. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
It's that
pretty
knowledge.
incredible.
Seriously, bring
Well,
it to our
that's it.
backyard.
And this is why I think this mentoring thing is such a cool idea and concept. And I am shocked that it's been around this long. But I think that there's a reason for that, clearly. It's because people love this and really value what they're hearing. Can you tell me how the program itself works if someone's interested in saying, how can I, can we have a mentor come out to our little, very small business just starting and kind of get everybody excited? Maybe it's a sales thing. That's always a tough,
Sales,
tough
marketing,
thing.
always
Yeah. How do
tricky.
you,
How do I get more customers? It's very difficult to get connected with SCORE. You have to go to score.org. Say, I want to click on I want to.
yes. Oh,
That's
it's
right.
a great
you
website.
Click on I want a mentor. It gets you, asks you a few questions, gets the information. You put your zip code in. Boom. If it's in these 5 counties, it ends up to me. I actually end up reviewing each and every one of the incoming requests.
Wow.
And I try to match up with my volunteers, those people that have the background. So if it's a finance and cash flow issue, well, we have a couple people that. If it's marketing, we got a couple on that. If it's intellectual property, we work with that. So there's lots of things that we do. Most of our people are very skilled in the business plan development, so almost anybody can help there. And we try to match up those people with the need with those people that have that ability.
Okay.
So cool.
Maura on the spot. Here we go. Maura on the spot on Chamber Corner. What is going through your mind when you're listening to Jim talk about this right now? Because obviously,
Can you
you're
see it? Can you
yes,
see
I
the
can see
wheels?
them
Yeah.
moving, man.
Well, I just when I hear Jim talk about it, I feel like there's that hump that people need to get over is letting down their guard if they
Right.
need the help. And I think that that's one of the main things with businesses is that they are upset or disappointed with themselves sometimes, and it's their passion, it's their livelihood, and sometimes it's very hard to open up your books to someone or kind of get that feedback when it could feel like judgment. And I don't,
Yeah.
and that's not where it's at, but it's like you have to be open to doing that. So I would just say, if you want to grow, you have to be willing to be kind of transparent with everything that's going on in your business if you're going to ask for that help. And I think these guys make it really easy to do so in a very welcoming environment. So one, get over it, be transparent, just be honest with yourself, because that's the only way to grow.
Yeah.
The other part is what I kept hearing over and over from panelists whenever we do big speaking presentations with SCORE. I just hear them all talking about how they wish they had that mentor. They wish they had that person or that advice. And sometimes it even comes with where when people are getting into business, they think in specific industries, it's like, oh, I don't want to open up this because someone else down the road has it. And they go, oh my gosh, they're going to look at me as a competitor and they don't want to talk. When really they're going to be their best partners and, exchanging business back and forth to each other, learning from that business that's already there. And they want to become a destination at the end of the day, is what I hear, is that, the more bulk that you have of that industry, the more people are going to want to seek out Chesterton, Indiana for that specific, whatever it is.
Right.
So it's don't be afraid to get out and talk to the people that are within your same industry, because you can learn a lot from them. And we as a chamber can make that, soft introduction or that warm introduction.
And just to be clear, we are a totally confidential organization, so we are not. We all sign an ethics statement. We all work through a specific set a protocol so that the person's information, their business information, is protected. We keep it confidential. It is a one-on-one or a two-on-one situation. And it really, the people that we deal with and the people who finally, realize we're out there as a resource and come to us, I think are satisfied. The National Score Office does all the measurements, and every time they talk to a score mentor, then they get a survey to say how well that experience went. And we're very happy with the satisfaction levels that our clients have reached. So that's what we try to do, and people shouldn't be worried that, well, I tell somebody a secret. No, it's your secret's safe with us. Let's put it that way.
It's good to point out, though. I mean, in case somebody out there was thinking, ooh, I would be a little nervous with you. There's no need for that.
Right.
Jim, can you give us an idea of the range of services that you offer on the topics? I mean, you've already thrown out at least 5 that I can think of.
Well, we help people with their business plans. We help them if they want to, how they're going to structure their business, whether they want to be an LLC or an S corporation. What's that legal structure that they want to put in place. We help them get prepared to get financing. We don't do financing, obviously, but there are steps that that the lenders are looking for. They're looking for a solid business plan and with some, realistic projections of what what they're going to need. We help them understand what their startup costs are going to be. And oftentimes people forget that in the startup, you've got your space, your location, all of your marketing expenses, all of your equipment, and they miss some of the pieces. Well, we can help them make sure they don't miss that. We know about sales and marketing and how to apply it to different organizations and different settings. So we even work with not-for-profits. So, a bit, but they're businesses. They just aren't expected now. These are planned not-for-profits, not for-profit businesses. They're being not-for-profit. We don't want to do that. We can help them with strategic planning. We also have our resource, that score.org, which is where you reach us, is available to the public. They can go in there. You cannot believe this is probably one of the best governmental based resources that you can find. They have everything in there on all the topics: finance, marketing, engineering. It's available free, just like all of our services. There are webinars free. Free.
Wow.
Free.
Okay, that's amazing. And that was one of my questions. Does it cost money to have you come in to mentor? It does not. Wow.
See, that's what I'm saying. This whole
That's
entire
amazing.
thing, it got better as the last event that we were at evolved. People were like, well, this is awesome information, and it's right in front of my face, and it's free. What, Maura?
Right.
Free.
And it's local people. I mean, that's incredible. I am curious if someone is feeling really super inspired and maybe had a mentor and would like to do that also if they want to become a mentor. Are they able to do that?
Absolutely. You go to the same score.org and you say, I'd like to be a mentor. I'd like to volunteer. And then the information is in there about what it takes to be a volunteer.
Okay.
And so we have, of the 30 people that are volunteers with my chapter, 15 of them are still working.
Wow.
So, and we have 2 millennials and a bunch of Generation Xers. So, I mean, we have a wide range of volunteers, and these are all people who like to give back. So, there's a lot of people that have knowledge and whatever, but SCORE isn't always for them because that's not what they don't like to give back. I don't want to say they don't like to give back, but that's
just not
at the
it's
top
not their
of their
nature.
list. Yeah.
Right.
They'd rather, sell their knowledge. In our case, we just give it away.
That's
and
amazing.
I think this is great, and we all know this because I surround myself with all young people. Knowledge is power, and quite honestly, I always try to absorb from anybody because I feel that I always want to learn. I say to my daughters, I say to everybody around me, all the folks we work with, it's a team effort here. But I think what you guys do and bring to the table is absolutely phenomenal. I like it because it's kind of a chill thing. Once you meet and once you start chatting, you're like, I get it. And I think there's not a lot of stress, for lack of a better word. You know what I'm saying? Which I think is great. All right. So
I think it's fabulous.
Yeah.
I do have to ask
Please.
Maura, though. Recently, you guys had a seminar on coping with difficult people, right?
Yeah.
This was through a partnership with SCORE.
Look at me.
Not at all. I love working with you.
So SCORE will come to your own business too and set up little workshops if you need it for coping with difficult people if you ever need it, Mary.
Well, that's such an incredible. I mean, that's something so out of the box as far as direct business plans and stuff. This is something completely different that is
Right.
fabulous, no matter what your role is at any business really in life. But I mean, learning some of these skills, that's amazing. I'm curious how that came about and what the feedback was from that.
Well, we have a wide range of offerings from the business. So we have everything from business planning, boot camps, and how to work with family businesses and hiring for success. But I come from an HR background, so personally, I do these seminars. I do a lot with emotional intelligence, and then part of emotional intelligence is being empathetic, putting yourself in the other person's position so you realize how you're reacting to their emotions and how they're reacting. So then this is it's a subset. We also did one on generations in the workplace. There are 5 generations today in today's workplace.
Wow.
Very difficult if you don't appreciate that each one of them brings something new and they're looking at the
Very
world
true.
differently. So it came about that way. So these are a subset. I had a couple of favorite books that I like, which is EI and Coping with Difficult People. So I've done seminars for years for my company, a lot of executive training and a lot of other. I actually train people at all the levels within the organization, and it's sort of a passion of mine. So I offered it up, and she said, "Yeah." And
Well, and that was pretty much where our
had
relationship
55
started.
people
Was
there, so it
coming
was-
and being the expert speaker at those seminars.
Oh, okay.
A few years back when it was the generational one, and then the EI one. So
I got to tell you, I think
it's
the
great.
finest generation out there is men and women that are around that 50-year-old range. I think they're the easiest.
You
to get along
like particularly the 51. That's what you're thinking,
with.
right?
51.
Yeah.
I want to throw this out there. Now, I know both of you, score.org, obviously a great site. Both of you were
Yeah.
at a giant event yesterday evening, correct?
Yep.
correct.
And I want to chat about that because I think that's a really cool spin as well. You guys want to just kind of tell us what happened at the event more? You want to start?
Sure. So we had asked a couple of I would say new entrepreneurs or some in new endeavors being an entrepreneur. So we had the owner of Anderson Winery. If you guys didn't know, they're under new ownership. They're looking at building on to their existing facility. Dana was there to talk about it, and she has been, she's owner of Aberdeen Manor as well. So she came in and she was talking about, and that's a whole, she wasn't a winemaker before
Yeah.
that. So like, it's a whole new, spin on what they're learning and what, her employees are doing. But then building on to her existing business plan. And man, when you talk about research, that woman knew, she read thousands of books and she was naming off all of them on our panel. And she was really interesting. And so they're doing something completely new. So she talked about her journey on kind of how it evolved to where it was. We had the guys from 219 Tap Room, who is going to be a new tap room in town. They are literally creating a space that wasn't even there off 3rd Street,
Wow.
right in the dead middle of the European market, which is exciting. So, they are brand spanking new to that, both come from very different business backgrounds. And then they said, this is a passion still of ours. And, they were at a good place in their lives to say, we're going to start a business. And so they're doing all of it from scratch. They're saying, we're going to get in touch with SCORE, to kind of go through some of it. Because they're, talking about alcohol and everything else. They have to jump through a lot more hoops and get a lot more permitting in place. So that's exciting. So they were talking about, their experience. And then we also had Carlos Chavez from Sweeney Todd's, who also owns the barbershop
Very
next door,
cool.
which
How
is
cool.
so cute. I love the brand there. So he came and talked about how he was like, I felt like that true entrepreneur spirit. Like he just kind of capitalized on the moment when he saw things that he could do. So great at doing the barber thing. A shop came open right next door to him. It was kind of a rotating business. And he said, I can put a business in there. One of his customers said, hey, your food is phenomenal. Why don't you think about it? And so he's like, all right, done. So it's one of those things where it's like he capitalized on the moment, but again, having the business plan and kind of going back and thinking about how to really map it out to make sure he survives at that 5 years to where it's not going to be a rotating, business at the end of the day is really important. So they really talked about their journeys, and they were all very different and inspiring and, scary and, and it was very real and authentic the way they talked about, what they've came across and what they expected and what they didn't and how they were ready to tackle it. So I'm excited to follow their journeys
Yeah.
now for
Oh,
the
yeah.
next, however many years. So.
Yeah, for sure. That does make me think of something. Jim, do you guys follow, so the companies that you are doing mentoring services for, do you follow them for a period of time or is it just
Our
that they,
tagline is for the life of your business. So realistically, I still have in contact with clients that I had in 2014. So this is 4 years
good.
later. And I know we have a 25-year volunteer in our business,
Wow.
in our chapter, who still has some contact
That's
with some of the ones
incredible.
that he started. So it's for the life of your business. And as we say, the number of businesses that succeed after 5 years is greatly enhanced if they started with a business plan to begin with. If they didn't, they struggle, and not that they don't not that some of them don't make it, but the statistics are out there. Over half the businesses, small businesses, fail within the first 5 years.
That's a killer piece
Yeah.
of
Which
information.
is
being a
why
small business,
we
a
were
business
created,
plan.
I
Yeah.
think, way back in '64
Yeah.
to try to see if we could make a dent in that. And
Right,
certainly
absolutely.
The people that work with us, we think are doing better.
Okay, so
That's incredible.
I'm going to throw Jim on the spot. Jim on the spot.
Okay, yeah.
So that's going to be now a part of your new chamber thing. So Wisconsin, you come to Indiana. Which state you like better? Come on, tell us, Jim. Come on.
I'm originally from Pennsylvania.
Okay, so we still go.
now there's
So
another one
your
in the
answer.
mix.
Can you just go Switzerland?
Juggle that.
On
Yeah.
on a serious note, you see different things in these different communities. You talk about Fond du Lac. You were talking about, obviously, our backyard, Northwest Indiana, Chicago proper, Pennsylvania. Any similarities when it comes to the business? And also, you see a lot of things that are probably different with the lay of the land, right?
Yeah. Well, other than the geography, people are still people.
Yeah.
And they are interested in their community. So wherever I've lived, I always try to be active and involved in the community in which I'm living. So I think that's what I see here. A lot of pride, a lot of people that are proud of their individual community. So we work in the 5 counties, but I'm telling you, inside the cities, people, they like Hobart, they like Chesterton, they
Yeah.
like Valpo, they like Munster, they like St. John. So, and that's neat.
Yeah.
And it's easy to work with then the people that are there and help them make a contribution in their community. I was in Gary, believe it or not, last week, and there were 3 brand new entrepreneurs there who grew up in that city, and they said, we got our struggles, but we're putting our businesses here, and we're gonna see.
Good for
this is
them.
exciting. So it's pretty. To us, it's very rewarding that we can make a contribution
Yeah.
with what we offer in our services.
Absolutely phenomenal. Recently, Maura, we had Beth in studio earlier this week, as a matter of fact. I wanted to throw out there many kudos. Heard the Taste of Duneland was phenomenal.
thank
A
you.
lot of people, we obviously love promoting the heck out of it, but so many people, that was a great choice for people for 12 hours.
Yeah.
You guys had something popping in the heart of historic downtown Chesterton.
It was crazy. We were, drag us off the ground at the end of the night, but it was great. It was our first time organizing it, so we got a lot of feedback, lots of positive, lots of good ideas for how we can make things run a little smoother for next year. So we're excited about it. We're excited to make it a tradition with the Duneland Chamber and keep it going. I mean, it was great. I mean, at the end of the day, I felt like it was a European market on steroids. For the sheer fact that we had so many more food vendors there, the extended beer garden, Leroy's and Running Vines did an amazing job.
Was there dancing?
Of course. It was like, I think it was like all the 5-year-olds though dancing
Yeah, but-
outside the beer garden.
I have really-
Oh wait, are
Have
you?
you? No, I was asking about the event, but now I want to know. That's a perfect segue into your dancing. We need an update from last month.
I might have busted a couple moves out.
Did you
there.
practice?
did.
I wanted to.
Do the robot. You're on camera right now. Come on.
Let Rick do the robot. Yeah.
No dance moves. But it's still practicing for Dancing Like the Stars.
Yes.
So I'm excited. I'm excited for the next one. I'm gonna try to put a little video together for all my practices, like true Dancing Like the Stars style. So it could be
Aw.
interesting. So I'm trying to put it
That's
out
neat.
there.
Can you tell us again? Remind us when that is.
Oh gosh, it's the first Saturday in November
Okay.
at Blue
Okay.
Chip.
Okay.
So I think the link should be live on the YMCA's website, or you could always contact my office at 219-926-5513, and we can direct you. So they're still, looking for sponsors, and if you want to sit in my section, woo woo.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing: you sit in her section, you got to support the section. In other words,
That's right.
You vote and you pay to vote, and all that. By the way, for real, 100% of that stuff goes towards great programs and things.
Fabulous
Yeah.
programs. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All
Very
right,
good
any
cause.
final thoughts from you, wonderful people? As
You know
we
what?
come to a wraps here.
I do. I was thinking about it when you're also talking about like your brain's going and it's going. A big thank you. We talk about the huge endeavor it is and the stress and the fear and all that. So a big thank you to all of those businesses that decide to go in hardcore with, everything that they have. So thank you to you guys. Thank you to all your employees. It's right past Labor Day, and just thinking about how important it is to a community for those people to take that step. It's you guys make our community special, so thank you.
Well, I just say that it's always a pleasure for SCORE to have chambers who appreciate what we have to offer and want to partner with us. We think we can make a big difference with them. We really enjoy our partnership with Duneland. Maura and her staff do a great job. They put together that event last night. I think it was very successful, and where you have entrepreneurs telling their story. And there's, we're small business people. Here's what we did, and the audience was out there, and there were a lot of people that are in small business. I had about 20 of my own clients out there listening to see, okay, how did they do it? What did they encounter? What can we do? So we're excited about it. We love it here in Northwest Indiana. We want to expand and serve more people, and I'd like to get a few more volunteers as well.
Score.org.
Absolutely.
Score. I mean,
wonderful.
honestly,
Seriously
really,
cool.
what a great resource.
And try it. Take that first step.
Absolutely. What do you have to lose?
Scope out the site, bond with these guys. 926-5513. Always become a Duneland Chamber member. It is the finest chamber in the area. Jim is score.org. That's going to be in my head. I'm going to do a commercial.
Score.org.
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 Change. All right.
Free.
Yeah.
By the way, we're going to be back in a couple weeks with Maura and the crew for this. We do this every month
Yep.
with our Duneland Chamber.
Yep.
So
In the
I'm
beginning of
enjoying
every
that.
month, and
Yeah.
it's a great way to start the month.
I
And
agree.
find out what's going
Listen,
on. And
any day that we have you in studio, it's like
yeah,
awesome.
we love
Love you
it.
guys.
We're glad you're here. And you know what? You guys have an awesome website too. I love your live calendar that everybody can put, members put their events and stuff. And it's a great way to take a peek and see what's going on. So
You're the best.
definitely do that.
Keep in the loop.
All right. Well, on
Yep.
behalf of us all at Gerard Media LLC, Mark Scott, Rick Federici, God bless America, God bless our veterans. Thank you to our Duneland Chamber of Commerce. This will be a rewind this upcoming weekend. You'll also be able to scope it out through the Duneland's Facebook page and their social media as well as ours. Thank you to our Facebook Live audience, and thank you to everybody that's listening via the multiple apparatuses that we have.
That's right. That's
Thank
right.
you, Mary Anthony.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for being here, really.
Thank you.